So is pedagogy only of one type? Not at all. It's not of one type at all. There are 5 different approaches. I wouldn't say there are types of pedagogy, but these are the 5 approaches as far as pedagogy is concerned. So they are, we know, constructivist, collaborative, integrative, reflective, and last is inquiry-based learning, IBL, short form of it. You must have heard these names already. Constructivist or constructivism. You know what is collaboration, integration, reflective. The words are somewhere auto-explanatory. They're self-explanatory. So what do you mean by constructivist pedagogy? It was Jean Piaget. He was a psychologist and a philosopher who brought this constructivism theory into practice. What do you mean by this? Over here, I would say where teachers allow students to reflect and construct their own knowledge. The student is not dependent upon what the teacher is telling, but he is developing his own knowledge with the help of the teacher, of course, and works on his prior knowledge. So the learner constructs his own knowledge rather than just passively listening to things. And according to Jean Piaget, it is of 2 types: cognitive constructivism and social constructivism. So we will not go into much detail of what constructivism is teaching us. I will go ahead to the next level so that we understand all of them. Collaborative constructivism, pedagogy. So collaborative pedagogy, as the word explains to us, is multiple learners working together. It is of 6 types. Over here, the pedagogy which we use in our classrooms, think, pair, and share, comes under collaborative pedagogy. We all do that. But of course, we didn't know that this is part of collaborative pedagogy. That's the approach. There are other 5 types also: formal collaborative pedagogy, informal, problem-based, and jigsaw collaborative pedagogy. To me, what we are doing during these sessions, don't you think this is a formal as well as an informal collaborative pedagogy? Anyone would like to say that? I would put this as a collaborative type of pedagogy. Anyone would like to say anything? Any one of the participants? Do you think so? Is it collaborative pedagogy? Yes. Formally, the system has been made into sessions of 4 days. And informally, we are sharing so many things. Sir did so much of clearing on documents, records, and all that. That is collaborative pedagogy. Integrative pedagogy approach. This approach involves many different disciplines coming together. People from various backgrounds, sciences, social sciences, mathematics people, sitting together and bringing out a way of learning, creating skills and knowledge. That is integrative approach of pedagogy. Reflective pedagogy. Again, self-explanatory. More for teachers, for us, because we are reflecting into our own work. We reflect into our studies. The teacher reflects upon her lessons, projects, assignments, and tries to find out where am I going wrong or where do I need help. So, well, what we are doing these days is also reflection on our approaches of pedagogy. These particular 4 days, we are also following reflective approach of pedagogy. So we cannot ever say that there, while teaching and learning in the classrooms, only one type of pedagogy will go on. And the last is inquiry-based learning. Again, a self-explanatory word, which tells us that kind of teaching and learning methodology that kind of art and teaching of education where we are infusing inquiry into child. We all know that when children are very small, tiny, till about the age of 3 or 5 years, they are asking you 101 questions about every little thing, every small thing. But as we grow, that I don't know what catches up with us, we adults stop asking questions. But a pedagogy which is allowing the children to keep asking questions, their inquiry mind is working. That is called inquiry-based learning. And today I will put lots and lots of effort, as much as I can try, to just stick to inquiry-based pedagogy, because the world over, the world is looking up to this approach more, than any other approach of pedagogy. So education is not learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think, said Albert Einstein. Yes, we are helping our own mind first, and then putting the spark, igniting the spark in the mind of the children. Active engagement of the child is highly, highly important. In today's scenario, it is. Therefore, there is a very great need of following a particular approach called inquiry-based learning, IBL. Because the reason is students get to play their part in the construction of knowledge through active involvement. You will say how and why. We are doing it. Yes, we are doing it, but we will only look at it in a broader perspective today. So the underlining part is active involvement of the child, active engagement of the child. So IBL approach of pedagogy is followed and given importance world over. Inquiry-based learning, how it looks, how it sounds, and how it feels. We are going to find it out slowly over the period of time. And you are all with me. Well, we know this learning pyramid. All of us have been listening to it. And Dr. Deepti had also talked about it. And in great, it has a great value in our learning, day-to-day learning. And how does inquiry lessons differ from the traditional approach? Because inquiry helps us. Not lecturing, not just reading, because reading will only give retention period of 10%. Only audiovisual? No. Only demonstration? 30%? No. Not even only discussion. Practicing by doing, and then after practicing, the child is able to tell somebody else also. That is teaching others, and inquiry helps us than the other traditional approaches to take the child to that level where he says, tell me and I will forget, teach me and I will remember, involve me and I will learn. Engagement will happen. Are you all with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, ma'am. So we'll do a little bit of inquiry today, and then we'll find out. Okay, let's go to our kitchens. All of us visualize we are in our kitchen. What is inquiry and why do it? Because we are learning by doing. Think of our class, 35, 40 children or 45 children. Let's divide it into 3 or 4 different groups. We are in our kitchen. Fine. We picked up lemons and all variety of dals, gave it to one group. Not difficult. Even in this pandemic time, ma'am, this can be done to infuse a bit of inquiry in children. Well, properties of water floating and sinking may be a part of science curriculum, but then it can apply to anyone. Even if you are teaching social studies, you can talk to children. What things, how did things float and which ones sink and which ones float? Let's go ahead. Okay, we have given one group lemons and pulses. Another group, I would give pebbles and leaves. pebbles, and leaves. And another group, I can give a bucket full of materials. Like there is a pencil, you can see there is an eraser, there are ping pong balls, there are pieces of wood, and then there are some coins and some big pieces, and maybe you can add nails. हील जिसको हम कहते हैं, अपने अलग अलग ग्रुप। अब बच्चे नोटिस करने की कोशिश करते हैं. They will all do it. Some balls will float, some will not. The leaves, you all know, will carry on floating on the surface, and pebbles will not. And in the bucket activity, again, it becomes very clear. The pencils, the erasers, the pink balls will keep on floating at the top, but the coins and then the nails will sink down at the bottom. We will say, wow, what's so big about it, ma'am? Nothing big about it. The same activity, let's look at some perspective of IBL. Let's see how it is. Steps to follow. Variety of objects can be given to the students in groups and ask them to record their data. That's where things are important. What we do is we just say things, okay, fine. Some are floating, some are sinking. Well, that's very nice. So we understand what is floating and sinking. No. There are 5 senses of the child which are working. Right from class 1, they can understand, carry on understanding till class 8. Even CBSE has given us enough time to, correlate our tiny little activities with the mind of the child. So by drawing, he can look at, he is a small child, class 3. Okay, let's draw. Draw all the leaves. The sense of seeing will be getting developed. Touching. Let's touch the lemon and see. It's softer and very plumpy to touch. Try it with raw eggs and boiled eggs. That also one group can be given. Explain by touching what is your feeling. Hearing. Describe. When you're putting the coins inside, they are making some kind of noise. The nails are making. Smelling. Smell the lemon, the leaves. If there are tulsi leaves, they will smell. They will give you a kind of, the child will have a different experience and will describe. इसको हम चाय में डालते हैं. Yeah, I have heard. ये काढ़ा में डाला जाता है आजकल. They are going to connect them. Experiencing and describing by tasting. Put some leaves inside the mouth. नीम कड़वा लगेगा. अगर उसके हाथ में हम देते हैं तुलसी तो वो उसको बड़ी अच्छी खुशबू वाला टेस्ट आएगा. Well, that's then recording the data. Let's go ahead. One question leads to another. What do they really want to know about? Develop the skills they need to know from multiple perspectives. Why are we doing this? Connect it to the next level. You went to, in your summer vacation, you went out to Nainital. You sat in a boat. Why the boat was not going under the water? Now he will start correlating the leaves floating on the top of the water or anything which is floating on top of the water or a pencil or an eraser, and a piece of wood will float on top of the water. What would they be able to communicate to the others about the topic? He learned about these things in the class, but if he connects with his activity when he went out during the summer, he connects you also try and connect with him in the class that the ship or the boat where you were sitting is made up of wood. That's lighter. That floats on the water, doesn't sink. So the ships are. And the body of the boat is streamlined. So we keep connecting from one context to the next. Understanding the changing context of the topic and integrate it with other topics. Streamlined bodies of the birds, streamlined bodies of the ships, and how the mnemonic, there are bones inside the body of the birds which are lighter. So are the wood pieces which are lighter and the body shape as well as the lightness causes the boat as well as the birds to fly and the boats to float. And going beyond, and slowly and steadily, if he's or she is the child of class 8, why can't we connect it to then Archimedes principle? So connection of integrative way of connecting questions is the base of inquiry. Connecting one question to the next, asking hows and whys and wheres. For example, we can ask a question, what do you mean by climate change? The class 7 child will start explaining to you what this is the meaning of climate change. And how is climate change affecting our daily life will be a higher level of questions. How do you think and why do you think the world all over is finding the next worst scenario which the world will be facing will be a climate change problem? So this way we can keep on connecting the higher and the higher level of what's and whys and how's questions and keep on igniting the inquiry in the child. Can I go to the next slide? Let me just escape and show it. Can you see from here? Because a bigger slide, you may not be, otherwise able to. So seeing can be drawn. This is a multisensorial sheet which can be created ultimately. So the child will slowly and steadily get into the topic wholeheartedly. What can I say about how an object looks? What can I say about what it feels on touch? Hearing, how can I describe what I heard? What did I learn about the object? The fact sheet will keep on clearing the child. Hearing, what do I really want to learn about this particular object? Then smelling, experience and describing. DES is describing, explanation, drawing. This whole method will bring a lot of questions in the mind of the child, and slowly and steadily he will start asking you more and more about it. He wants to know now more about what he is doing in this particular activity. And so we can connect with other activities also. So let's record the observations and the skills now. Object, for example, pebbles. The multisensorial sheet explained it to us, description. And the activity conducted is water in a bucket. The concept understood by the child is, will it float or will it sink? He finds out the leaves will float, but the pebbles will sink. Data recording and observations, pebbles sink in water. Why? Because pebbles are heavier than water. So this way, a tiny little activity, not a difficult one, but brings the inquiry in the child into the forefront. You are not snubbing him. You are asking him to ask more and more questions. Then we all have lesson plan formats. Lesson plan format of an inquiry-based learning has a lot of different areas which we can look into. You can look at the introduction part under school. All those you can, you will be having the PPT. You can clear when you are looking at it, clear description. Engaging and modeling inquiry. Determine what students already know about the topic. Then we are going into the next level also, the mind mapping and everything. Tuning in activity, making stories, films, bringing guest speakers, games, all of that is a part of inquiry. Ask for inputs from students. Let them have their say. Let their questions not be snubbed. Explain the concepts and terms, definitions in great detail. Provide demonstrations and appropriate diagrams. Body of lesson, guiding inquiry and practice, maybe in groups or independent asks. It can be both. questions. List the sequence of questions. We are coming to that one by one after this. Enabling prompts. Give them some bit of prompts also. Help them in difficulty. Challenging prompts. Not simple ones, but let their mind be challenged. Active involvement. Monitoring the assessments. Plan how you assessment. The methodology is done, then monitoring. Teaching in small groups. Making their whatever they are stuck at, get it explained. Then discussion and assessments and questions. So this is a whole detail of inquiry-based learning lesson plan in detail. It'll look difficult for the first time, but once we get into a flow, you all know, wasn't it difficult in the month of April to sit on Zoom and do the online teaching? Do you agree with me?
Yes,
Is it difficult now? Not at all. Within a month, yes, we get into the flow of things so very nicely. So this kind of lesson plan also makes our own work much, much easier inside the classroom. Let's go ahead. Accelerated and enhanced learning. Yes, inquiry is helping us as an approach to develop our lessons to bring the child's mind into a lesson. But then there are various pedagogy styles also followed all over the world. You all are following concept, making of concept maps, graphic organizers, mind maps, Venn diagrams. Are you all? I'll come to that also again. And then another style is bringing in gamification. Jigsaw puzzles like Tasia, because they promote discussion on the concepts, reasoning, can engage the whole class, even in groups or a class as a whole. And then Bazinga cards. These are quiz-like cards which can be used. Flipped classrooms. Your children are already doing the multimedia presentations. They are getting into this mode because today is the time of online teaching and fine. Flipped classrooms. Flipped classroom where during your online teaching, you can ask the child to give him the small subtopic, try and tell them to go on this particular video, try and understand from this video, and we'll discuss tomorrow. During the online teaching, then the child is coming prepared with some bit part of it, and you are, flipping the classroom mode. Already the child is coming prepared, and now you are introducing and going ahead with it. Genius are many schools, good schools follow this methodology or style where they keep part of the class time for students to work on projects which they are very, very interested in. That project can go on even for 6 months, even for a year. That's called Genius R. The way we have in our timetable 0 periods, that 0 period once a week can be kept as a Genius R to follow up with a project which is highly interesting to the children to carry forward for the whole year. Let's go to some parts of these accelerated and enhanced ways of learning styles and understand. How to make a mind map, I really don't have to make you understand. Create a central idea, for example. Over here, central idea is what is energy and different types of. Select subtopics as branches. Ensure these branches are thick and curved and try and use different colors. All new branches radiate out of the central energy and write keywords that you associate with the topic and help the child to do it. Conservation of energy, different forms of energy. Heat is a form of energy. Heat is capacity for work, and so on. And then I'll show you a child has made a mind map. Not a teacher, a child has made. The central idea is sense organs. You can see the eye, the ear, the tongue drawn. He cannot draw the skin, but then he's drawn a nose, and then all are in different colors, and then they are branching out. Eyes can see distance, shape, size, colors. This way mind maps can be. You are making, the children can start making. Venn diagrams. Whales and fish are fish to us, but they are not fish. They are different. Well, we as teachers know whales are mammals and fish are fish. For making the child understand their differentiations, their different properties are in the two big circles and their common properties are in the center. That's the Venn diagram. Fish have scales, but whales have hair. Fish breathe water, but whales breathe air. Fish lay eggs. That's why they are fish. But whales give birth to baby whales. So they are mammals. But what is common between them? They can swim. They live in water. They have fins to swim. That's the need of a Venn diagram. You've been making fine. This is also a style of learning. Then we go on to Tarsia puzzle. I'm giving you the links also side by side if you can see. Well, you can notice the link at the top. For learning any subject, don't think this particular example I have taken is from maths. Decimals, percents, and fractions. Let's look at these triangles. I'll go to the next slide and then come back to this one. Have a look at this. This activity can be done in groups and can take about 15 minutes depending upon students. Hand students the entire set of these triangular. You can take a A4 sheet, cut it into triangles. The children can only cut it into triangles. And do not write on the edges. Look at the edges, everyone, clearly. There's nothing written on the edges. But on the three sides, there are written 20%, 0.143, outside edges are blank, and then hand over the entire sets to the students and tell them to match up the different representations. Let's come back to the main one where I'm trying to explain it to you. Go to this particular 7 upon 10 can also be written as 0.7. 7% is also 0.07. 2 by 3 is 66 by 2 by 3%. So the child has to look for the decimal, the percent, and the fraction. At the same time, you created the triangles, fine. You asked the children to write 78 upon 200 is this 39%. But after your teaching, this puzzle will help the child to quickly connect how one decimal is connecting to the percent and also connecting to the fractions. And create a whole, which the shapes can be tetrahedral, they can be hexagonal, they can be even a big triangle ultimately, doesn't matter to you. So your classroom will look like a buzzing classroom full of activity, where the child himself is interested. That's the basic need of today's hyperactive children we were discussing day before. They are exposed to so much of knowledge and awareness through media. Their hyperactivity can be brought down and can instead be changed into something where they will slow down and they'll be interested in your chapter, which was looking so boring. I remember maths used to be kind of, so difficult for me. And it was for many of us. These puzzles will make it very interesting. Can I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Of actual children. So this was part of our own training sessions. So these all things we've already done. We enjoy when we do stuff that is real. That's the feeling of the children. It's like projects and things which we love to indulge in. When we kids work in groups or with partners, we create big things. For them, creating this Tarsia puzzle is a big thing, even if he is in class 9. and it involves lots and lots of fun. Tarsia puzzles are not for maths, they're for every subject. Bazinga cards are not for maths or only for science. Those are puzzles and those are quizzes which are for every subject, for infusing inquiry into the children. The cycle of inquiry-based learning. I brought it at the last because never wanted the steps to go ahead with you. Let's do the activities and come to the steps. Ask, investigate, create, discuss, and reflect. Students find out their own questions. They have to collect information and try and do a little bit of experimentation, exploit different resources. At home, the floating and sinking can be done with n number of different other things. Students generate their new thoughts, their ideas, their own learning, active involvement, active engagement, inspired by each other. Think, pair, and share is also going on side by side. Students share their ideas with each other and with the teacher. They do experiments and investigations. So they're discussing. And then they are reflecting. Where did I go wrong? Why was I not understanding? What was where? Okay, what do you mean by now Archimedes principle? What was my teacher telling in the class now? Connections become stronger and stronger, and the child is highly, highly involved in our lessons. That's the cycle of inquiry-based learning. Teacher, what is she doing? Teachers play a new role as a guide or just a facilitator. Teacher is now perceived as a guide on the side, not a sage on the stage. At my time, all our teachers were only sages on the stage. Even yahi karte aaye hain. But then, this is the new world where learning has to be done in different ways. 5 characteristics of inquiry-based learning. Inquiry-based learning depends upon higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy. How many people are very, very aware of Bloom's taxonomy? See in the chat box? Anybody writing?
Yes.
Most of them should be.
There are many compliments, excellent presentation with activities for students, active participation, and nice presentation with slides, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Very good compliments are there. So let us stop for a minute or so.
Yeah.
Let us see our friends, if anybody want to give any comment, any wonderful question. Awesome, wonderful, ma'am. And let us make a few announcements also in the meantime.
Right, sir. Right.
First of all, be ready with your questions. Whatever questions you have in mind till now, please write down, or one or two can ask by unmuting also.
Yes, please do ask.
And sir, there are many questions, many suggestions, and many, not suggestions, comments on YouTube live also.
Okay.
So we have they are talking about really informative session by Amol Bagri. Prahlad is saying that is very nice presentation. Smriti Ranjan Pakare is saying very nice program and opportunity to participate in excellent session, very helpful session. So they have been commenting from different places all over the country. So that's good to hear from them. Sir.
That's very nice. Friends, we want to take up this activity to the next level after tomorrow's session. We want whatever concepts we are learning, great concepts have been given by all resource persons. So thank you very much to all of them. But we want to take this further to the higher level in the sense we want to have participation of some participants. Can everybody mute and please mute everyone. And we want some of the teachers who can come with their people on our WebEx platform Rest all are seeing. Dr. Prakash, somebody is.
I'm doing, but someone is again unmuting.
Maybe.
Sir.
So, friends, then we'll have panel discussion on each concept we have learned these 4 days, and we'll record it and put it as a sample on YouTube channel. That is one. Feedback form we have modified today. We want to have options from you, whether you want to go with us in different form, you want to work with us as per our requirement and our wisdom, or you want to work with CBSE. 8 of you have responded with email ID on Google Classroom. We'll be sending the mail, as I said in the beginning, to answer 2 questions. What is your area of expertise and what are the processes of a school out of 30 to 50 processes where you have complete insight and you can take a lead and you can contribute on NEP 2020 as far as the National Curriculum Framework is concerned. So this kind of items we want to take, okay? And the rest you can read on the chat box. I've already posted the 5 points. So thank you very much. Any question? Let us see what has come. Excellent, great presentation. Ma'am, your explanation is very wonderful. Great presentation. And so all compliments, but you want some questions also and some wonderful ideas. How we can implement in the real classroom situation. Ideas on that. So over to you, ma'am, again.
So Bloom's taxonomy I was talking about. Higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy. Now you can look at, there are black 3 areas that remember, understand, apply. The 3 lower levels of Bloom's taxonomy are called lower order of thinking skills, right? And the red ones which I've kept at the top, that's why the color differentiation is analyze, evaluate, and create, where the child thinks on a higher level, higher order of thinking skills. So actually inquiry-based learning, IBL, brings into the child's mind analysis of things, calculation, categorizing. He's able to evaluate, assess, organize his thinking, prepare his own small little knowledge, estimate, judge, predict, design, create, compose, compile. So these are higher levels of thinking skills. Let's go ahead. The second characteristic of inquiry-based learning is, first was it relates with higher order thinking skills of Bloom's taxonomy. Second, it helps the child. It involves questions that are very, very interesting and motivating to the child. Not a dull class. It helps the child to come up with his queries more and more. What is the third characteristics? Learning in the classroom is cooperative learning. Everyone is helping everyone else. Teamwork. There's a whole new thought of synergy. This is synergistic in nature. You remember what is Ubuntu? If anybody knows what you mean by Ubuntu? I am because we are. In the world, there's nothing called I. हमारी oriental approach of philosophy of thinking also is मैं कुछ नहीं हूं, हम हैं. Just now, we are not single entities. What is Dr. B Singh teaching us? He's teaching us, he is head of this group, but then he's taking us all along. Dr. Prakash is head of our group, but he's taking all of us along. Ubuntu is I am because we are. That is teamwork. That is cooperative learning. That brings excitement into the child. He loves presenting. He loves the movement in the class. There's no dull movement inside the classroom. That is the learning which happens in IBL. That is the third characteristic. Fourth characteristic. Teacher is just a guide. मैं क्या पढ़ा रही हूँ? आप तो खुद ही करे जा रहे हैं. He is just a facilitator. rather than teaching and that content, what is she managing? She is managing only the interactions. भाई आप अपनी बकेट में ये चीजें डालो. भाई ऐसे नहीं. अगर आप वहां गए थे नैनीताल तो कौन सी बोट में बैठे थे? There are those there are different types of boats. Then there are ships inside if you go to Mumbai. तो वो तो सिर्फ हेल्प कर रही है. Let the team stay focused and make their progress. With careful encouragement, each team's problem, plan of action, outcome will emerge on its own. The unique product of its members, collective strengths and interests. वो टीचर का काम नहीं है, बच्चे खुद लेके सामने आ रहे हैं. They are bringing their own knowledge slowly and steadily. In my role of facilitator, what we become is we are just briefing the students on the project right in the start. They are doing things themselves. When teamwork begins, you and me will spend most of our time only observing our team members to determine what their problems are, helping them to work together. That is, teacher is just a guide. Meaningful products will come out of inquiry-based learning. I've given you little examples. For example, it's a maths class. They can use word problems. They can create word problems. They can instead help you, ma'am, we have come out with some more questions. Well, interesting. In English class, they can learn how to write emails and resumes, which in our adult life, sometimes we are finding it difficult to write a good resume. They might do it. In science class, they can create different experiments of their own and do a little bit of research. Dr. Prakash, my PGT bio teachers, they have created role plays for DNA. I will show you the children becoming DNA and parts of it, the guanine and adenine and thiamine, and then creating a play and then intertwining around each other and slowly showing what do you mean by DNA? What is a DNA? That is inquiry-based learning. Nothing else. 5 kinds of questions need to be asked in inquiry-based learning. Sir, here according to us, what we had discussed, I will only give the type of questions to them and then they will create their own questions. Am I right, Dr. Singh? Right. So there are 5 different types of questions. Inference questions, bring out an inference. Interpretation questions, transfer questions, questions about hypothesis. Hypothesis you all know. मैंने कुछ सोचा, मुझे लगा कि कोविड के टाइम पे what I thought, sir, was when I was traveling by air such a long distance on 30th of September, only a month back, तो मेरा अपना एक बनाया हुआ hypothesis था, if I put a cotton mask below and a surgical mask at the top, I think I'll have a 6 layer of protection while I am traveling. And I really did. I kept wearing 2 masks. I'm not sure about it because I have not done it experimentally, not asked a doctor, but that was my hypothesis. That was an unchecked hypothesis, but it helped me. I can ask a doctor, well, if he says yes, then it becomes a theory. Yes, 2 masks can be used, one homemade, cotton one, and on top of that, a surgical mask. Reflective questions. I'll give you one example, and after that, I'm going to ask you questions. Let's go into inference questions, the first type. Ask questions from students to go beyond the information which is available. वो मैं आपको example की तरह दे रही हूँ. That will be 2 types that helps us in understanding inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning. जैसे कि अभी मैं अमेरिका में हूँ और आप भी जब जनवरी में अगर मसूरी जाते हैं, you will see people with red cheeked faces, heavy coats, mittens पहने हुए, boots पहने हुए, very clear blue sky. What do we conclude out of it? What does the child conclude out of it? You give these tips and ask him, भाई क्या लगता है आपको? They will say, ma'am, very cold day in winter. That's inductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning. Deductive? What did you deduce out of it? The temperature outside is 0 degree. तभी ये सब हो रहा है, तभी हमें ये सब पहनना पड़ रहा है. हमारी गाल लाल हो चुकी है बाहर जाने पे, हम हैवी कोट्स पहन रहे हैं, बूट्स पहन रहे हैं, और आओ हवा थोड़ी साफ होती है, better than what it is in the summer. So that's an example of inference question. I can give you one more if you want. What conclusions can we draw by looking at this picture? Now, anyone please give me an answer. What do you understand? ये मेरे बेटे ने भेजी है, the one who lives in Switzerland. He had gone out for last weekend, and that's a real picture, real photograph. Can anyone tell me what does it show you?
Yes, friends, let's see your creativity.
Mute, unmute.
Imagination. Somebody has written, I want to ask some question. Please ask now.
Please ask, please ask. Unmute, kindly.
We are waiting for you, friends, to answer, to ask questions or to comment on this picture.
I want reply. Yes, sir. I am Peter's Academy. Sir,
Anji.
this picture is showing the climate of environment, also the types of tree.
Yes.
Pretty understand, but it is also showing the types of tree and climate of environment,
Right.
and
Right.
and also how is our leaves types, and the
Right.
temperature also showing.
Yeah. So, yes, ma'am, you are very, very right. And somebody has written peace and calm. Yes. It is giving us peace and calm. The natural beauty of Swiss Alps. These are Swiss Alp mountains. ये तो मैं बता रही हूँ because I know where the picture is from. And then also, ma'am, nobody notices that such beautiful colors of the trees, the autumn hues. In the West, ma'am, the trees start changing their colors. Any bio person will make me understand what do you mean by this. Yes, please tell me. A bio person, because I'm a bio PGT. Why do trees change colors in autumn? Yes, Wordsworth, very right. Somebody's writing in the chat, Wordsworth. Can anybody explain why the trees are changing colors in autumns? All my area, अब मैं आपको आज बारिश है दिखा नहीं सकती हूँ. I would like, थोड़ी देर में मैं आपको दिखाना चाहूंगी खिड़की से बाहर. All the beautiful colors of the trees are yellows and oranges, and it reminds of beautiful poetry. Yes, Nigar ma'am. Yes, ma'am. The colors change. Let me give the answer. Because the trees at this time are not finding that much of sunlight. The amount of sunlight the chlorophyll needs to make it work. So, yes, ma'am. Madam Prakash is, she's agreeing. She's a botanist. Yes, ma'am. The pigmentation, the chromophyls are taking over. The photosynthesis is now done by the colored pigments, which are chromophylls. Wherever the red pigment will be stronger, that tree will have red leaves. And I can show you from my mobile if I have a nice picture. I just hold on, because I love to do these kind of little experiments everywhere. Can anybody see the redness in the tree?
Yes, ma'am.
See the redness of the leaves? That's
Yes,
just outside my walking area. So what has been done? The chromophyle, which is red in color, has taken over the act of doing photosynthesis. That's how the autumn hues come in the Western countries, because the Western countries are having good amount of sunlight in these months, especially in October and November. And after that, the leaves will go away. Only the pine leaves will stay. Can I go ahead, sir?
Ma'am, I would like to add one more thing.
Right, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It's looking very sunny, but actually it's very, very cold there.
Right, ma'am. Because he's taken a picture from that area na, where there is sun coming.
Yes, yes.
Very sunny time in Switzerland. Yeah.
Very sunny day. It's very sunny, but you can't feel the warmth and heat.
Right, ma'am. Right, ma'am. Right, right.
Excuse me,
Go
ma'am.
ahead. The second type of questions after inference question. Yes, sir. Dr. Miss Swans, कुछ आप कह रहे थे?
Ji. With all due respect to all the science teachers, especially the bio teachers, they've all seen many things in the picture. But what I am interpreting as the Alps or the mountains may be very tall, but I can see the clouds overreaching them. And
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
seeing it from a different angle.
Very right. The English person is giving us, the language person is giving us that perspective of nature. Yes. Let's
Yeah,
move on
please
to
go
the
ahead.
second type of questions. Interpretation questions. Ask students to predict consequences of whatever may occur as a result of the given scenario. Ask students to combine past knowledge of situations and new facts and information. I give you one example. Kindly open your mics and give me one more example. Interpretation questions. We can ask, sir, this is for you, Thaper sir. We can ask our students to read R.K. Narayan sir. And his two books are Malgudi Days and The Dark Room. Okay, the children have done the reading. And what patterns do you think will be present in his third book, The English Teacher? Now you give me an example of an interpretation question. I have given you an example already. Someone unmute yourself. No one? Oh, I'm feeling sad. Anyone? Okay, I go ahead. I will not then take more of time. Transfer questions, the third type. Ask students to take their knowledge and apply it to a new situation. Ask students to expand their thinking. The thinking key is now shared by all four of them. Expand your knowledge and transfer it. We found many patterns in maths class today, the teacher, us, we can say. Now let's look at our language lesson on adverbs and see what patterns we find there. चलो हिंदी में बात करते हैं. Adverbs या कहावतें. Somebody come out. चलिए पैटर्न बनाते हैं कहावतों पे. Someone please.
Ma'am, if I'm not taking it wrong,
Yeah.
adverbs, they'll talk about addition that adds to the meaning of some adjective or another adverb. That is what.
Yeah, very right. मैंने वैसे ही मैं कहावतों में ले गई कि चलो हिंदी में बात करते हैं तो कहावतें. Yes ma'am, adverbs भी आप बनाएं. Pattern.
So ma'am, what am I supposed to do? I'm not very clear about it. Sorry.
Now you can make a question like these.
All right. Okay.
Make an example for a transfer question.
Okay.
You can create a question of your own.
Right. So
Say
actually,
your subject biology, ma'am. If you are teaching, say, different parts of body, or you are teaching some digestive systems, you use Rangoli. Rangoli instead of drawing, children do Rangoli. Otherwise, let them do Rangoli in bio topics, and they combine Rangoli with the bio pictures very well.
Right.
So there are different patterns created.
Very right, sir. Very right. Very right. Let's go to the next level. Questions about hypothesis. Ask students to predict outcomes. Questions are often seen in science, but they are present everywhere in every discipline. Let's take one example. How can we find if ever-ready batteries really last the longest? This is a type of question we can ask as a hypothesis. We are not still very sure about it. There can be other batteries. Which can be the other batteries? Give me some other example other than ever-ready batteries in India. Or some example of a question.
Rechargeable batteries have longer life.
Duracell, very right, very
Duracell.
right.
Yes.
Yes. Or any other type of question which you can form as a hypothesis question. मैंने अभी अभी आपको बताया था कि मेरा hypothesis है कि 2 मास्क पहन लेने चाहिए, एयर ट्रैवल में बंदा बच जाएगा. किससे? कोरोना से. So that's a hypothesis. You can make your own hypothesis. Hippo batteries, very right, sir, very right. So we are not very sure if ever-ready batteries or Duracell batteries or Nippo batteries, which ones will long last. After checking it, we'll come to know. That's very good. Reflective questions. Lead students back into investigation. How do we really know that there are no aliens out there? Reflective questions. Another example of a reflective question is, how do we know that the show on the TV was telling the truth? Half of the time, the TV shows are to please a particular political group. Am I right or wrong? So that's an example of a reflective question. You make a question, a reflective question, please. So do I have 5-7 minutes more? Can I take?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Am I
ma'am.
allowed, Dr. Prakash?
Yes, ma'am. You can go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Now, where do we begin? Examine lessons. Listen to the questions being asked. This is all of us. Be the teachers who are attending just now. Start with small projects and slowly start expanding. Remember, children who are not used to thinking on their own may not know how to approach problems. You be the guide, not the sage on the stage, but a guide on the side. That's the meaning of IBL approach, pedagogy approach. Planning an inquiry lesson. How can we go ahead? Think of a topic or a standard which we might teach in our area. Write down several questions which you would like to motivate the students. Label the type of questions. कैसे करने हैं वो label? जैसे अभी हमने PowerPoint में देखा. 5 different types of questions. Interpretative, hypothesis questions, transfer questions, reflective questions, derogative questions. What type of questions they are? Students doing inquiry-based learning. Students view themselves as now the learners during the process of learning. They are not just sitting idle and just looking at you. They look forward to learning. They show their desire to learn more. They seek to collaborate. They want to come together and work cooperatively with their peers as well as teachers. So everything is happening. Think, pair, share, formal and informal. All pedagogies are right now getting involved into IB. They are more confident in their learning. In the process, they are more showing their willingness to modify ideas and take risks. Display their skepticism also, critiques, they become critiques. Critical thinking is the end product of inquiry-based learning. Problem solving is the end product of inquiry-based approach of pedagogy. That's what 21st centuries are. That was yesterday's Mr. Thaper's session with us, and that's how IBL can connect with it. Students critique their learning practices. They recognize and report their strengths and weaknesses. This is what we want. We don't want dull children sitting idle inside their classrooms. They start reflecting on their own learning with their teachers as well as their peers. So inquiry-based learning is, the importance of inquiry learning is that students learn how to continue learning. This is something they will take with them throughout life beyond the boundary walls of your schools. They will become lifelong learners. They will be the ones where Dr. Joseph Manuel that day was saying that we want to create learning classrooms. IBL approach creates learning classrooms. That's all I have for today, and I'm open to now questions.
Let us hear from participants. Wonderful session, ma'am. Very well done and very well explained. Very good examples, practical examples. So friends, today in the open house, we'll request ma'am to summarize it in 5-10 minutes and another 5-6 minutes to take more examples, practical examples, so that all of us are benefited. So that will be one. Another 15 minutes we'll spend on questions to write down in Google Classroom before 8 p.m. So whatever questions are there, all of us will study those questions and answer them. And 15 minutes we can spend in answering new terms or open-ended your questions if you have in mind other than the topic we have discussed today. Dr. Prakash, in the feedback form, somebody has written day 2 is written. I hope you made correction.
I've changed it, sir. I've changed it.
Change it. Well, thank you. So, friends, now it's open to you. You can ask questions. You can unmute and ask certain questions. Facebook, उसमें YouTube में डॉक्टर साहब, if any powerful question or any great question is there.
I'm just telling you, sir. Oh, it's basically feedback. We are saying about this good program and very nice video and nice presentation. And they are talking about Ubuntu, and that is a great concept of working together for each and every person. So someone has asked question, ma'am, what kind of games can we play and involve the students for the teaching science topics? This is Pooja Sharma asking.
Bazinga is a kind of a game, ma'am. During this period, when you are waiting for the 9 o'clock session, try and find out about Bazinga cards. That's a game. Those are cards, and you can ask the children, they are participants into it, and try and understand it. We'll discuss that. Not a problem. So that is a way of having a game inside the class. And then also Tarsia puzzles is also creating these puzzles is also a kind, actually a game only. So these are gamification ideas, right? Fine, ma'am?
Yeah, I think we can discuss in more detail. Demonstration can be there.
Right.
Friends, those who are doing miracles, those who are doing innovation in their own classes, please share your videos with us or respond so that we have specific sessions, as I said earlier, with a small group of students live on our village platform. Rest of the people are watching on YouTube, and we have a panel discussion going on so that these concepts they look in real classroom. So that we want to take the next activity. Any other comment from Dr. Arun Thaper, sir?
Thaper?
It was a wonderful session.
Yeah.
Learned a lot from this, and the mathematical figure that you had put there in the presentation and the details that were written on it, they were in a flowering pattern. Whether that was done intentionally or it just came out that way, that was really something which was catching the eye. I'm sure other participants also might have noticed the flower in that figure. I would love to know how many of them noticed, as I had noticed. If you can just put that picture again, ma'am, you can share and let's see whether others can see the pattern over there. The mathematical slide.
Anji?
the slide that you had shared with the figure where you were talking of some mathematical concept. If you can just share that slide once again.
The Tarsia puzzle, sir?
Yes, please.
Just a second. I'll have to go back to my slide. But this one?
No, not this one. The triangles that you use to form a particular picture.
The previous one. Yeah, next one. This one.
No, sir, the picture of the triangles that were brought together. A4 size you had said, no, you can cut the, yes, this one.
This is the one. This is the one.
Green, yes, this one.
Yeah.
The previous one now.
Now the previous one.
No, it is the next one, basically. This one. Are you talking of this?
No, sir, previous one.
Hexagonal.
Yes.
Venn diagram.
Venn diagram.
No, Venn diagram nahi.
Nahi. Okay.
No, not this.
I think Mr. Thaper is playing some brain game. He is doing some brain games. Everyone should be involved and try to see. Everyone was sleeping. Now everyone is trying to see something. That's a good way of finding something which is not existing.
Right, very right, sir. Very right. He's made us think on those lines. He's actually using IBL.
Somebody asked a question. Ma'am, one question was there in chemistry. There are some wrong concepts, and even then we are teaching it. Why are you teaching those wrong theories?
Why are we teaching wrong theories?
Question was there was some wrong concepts in chemistry, but still we are teaching them.
Maybe some evolutionary theories, like if we talk about the Mendeleev periodic table and the new periodic table, we have to see how things developed, because whatever concept we have today is not that suddenly we reach there. So children should know and people should know how evolution has taken place from one step to next step to next step, and that's why learning takes place. That we know something and how to refine. Like when we talk about a theory, we know what was reason to describe, what they gave, and how they took it further. So that has its own meaning. If that they wanted to see, if something else we can try to answer. If something else they meant to.
You're very right, Prakash. Actually, the periodic table, what it was and is now, there is a whole process of evolution which happened. So maybe that the older one is not able to now satisfy our thinking. So the evolution of ideas is happening day by day.
And another thing that maybe we may not have answer of all the things. So we cannot say wrong, maybe incomplete. Right. Some answers will come in future.
Right.
So some unexplained things are there in everywhere in the life. Everything is not so much explained, because the culture is evolving, our knowledge is evolving, we all are growing. So maybe tomorrow we'll find out answer of the universe and everything, and non-existing God maybe prove that he is really non-existent. So anything is possible in future.
And one more, somebody said games in science or anything, domino cards. Domino cards is a game for children for every subject. Right from primary till class 9, 10, you can carry on. Domino cards. DOMINO cards. Bazinga cards. Those are puzzles. Actually, I should say a quiz. Bazinga is a quiz. So should I close it?
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
लेकिन मेरा किसी ने आंसर नहीं किया अभी तक. How many of the participants are able to see the circles in this? the way the numbers have been written. No one, only I saw. There's a beautiful flower on that. I'll mark it and share it in the group.
I can understand what you are trying to say.
We are circle blind.
Sir, actually, I can see the way fraction numbers are written, it's like circle, and in the middle there is a circle, and circle under that.
This is
All
the
are
circle he is
creating
talking
circles.
about. This is the circle sir is talking about. And then there is a circle here. Ma'am, then there is a circle here. There is a circle here. There is a circle here. Now look.
Please use your cursor and show it. Use your cursor.
Sir? Okay. Pointer. This
You
is the
point-
talking about. This is the circle. Then there is a central circle.
Yeah, each triangle has a circle.
Then there is a circle.
Yeah.
Numbers are written on the triangles. The numbers are here. 17 by 20 is 85%. 1.5 is also 1 by half. 120% is also 1.2.
That is it.
Right? And then there is a
Circle
here.
in between the triangle.
Then there is a circle here. Yeah.
This one.
So there are 7 circles which you can see right now.
It looks like
In the middle, 2 up and 2 down. 7 circles.
1, 2,
Thank you, ma'am.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Surely very nice.
So all 7 I have circled.
Friend, the last point, we have also given link for next 2 sessions, one for parents and students. So you may forward to all your circles. Children should register themselves. The parents should register. Saturday 4:30 to 6:30 is parent session. Sunday 11 to 1 student session. So
Sir, if you permit,
some maximum.
if you permit, I can show that poster to them.
Yeah, better you show. Better to show.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Better to show.
So we have shared this poster some time back. We talked about various forthcoming program, teachers training session course 2 that's going on from 27th to 30th. Parent session we have October 30th, 31st, student session October, November 1, teachers training program next session will be from 6 to 8 November. School owners program will be 10 to 11 and parents program principal training course will be this. So we have created some posters for you. This is for sessions with parents, which will be on October 31st. There'll be many more speakers for the time being. Whatever we had ready, we have written. Other names we will be adding. We will be writing the poster and that will reach to you. So this is for parenting during pandemic. What things has to be done? In fact, we in all the sessions we have noticed that teacher alone is not able to bring all the changes. Now this in education policy is also talking about, we also have noticed and we are going to make the complete change for the lifelong learning. Very important component that parents cannot be left behind. So involving them in the process of learning and learning their problems and giving them some suggestions and taking suggestions from them will be very, very pertinent. So that's why we devised this course that will be on 31st at 4:30 to 6 p.m. I'll request, and in fact, on behalf of all our team, we request every one of you to, we'll be sharing in the, with all of you with the mail also. So we request to pass on to all your Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, to the parents, school groups, and popularize as much as possible. Because if parents are having doubts cleared, that will ultimately help you in your normal teaching sessions. Interactive session with students, we are planning on November 1, in which students of different places, different classes, they will be all participating. So this is open to all the children, especially for class maybe 4, 5 and above. and we will be having DP Singh. She will be answering all the questions which are required. We'll try to bring some more counselors on the board. Mr. Thaper will be there. We'll request, and Narula ma'am, we could not discuss with her whether she was available that day or not. So hurriedly we made this poster. We'll modify. If she will be available, although timing is something which may not be suiting her very much, that's why we have requested her not to be on. Maybe that's why her name is not there. But whole team, all of us will be involved. And another session that we have planned is a very unique session that school owners can play, where the people who have started the school with some vision, with some thing in their mind, whether they are able to reach that or not, what problems they are facing. And we are planning to invite some, and we have already got confirmation from some great people who have started the school and they are quite successful and good experimentation has been done. So we are calling them, requesting them to be a part of this session where school owners can discuss their ideas. We have session for managers, we have session for the principals, we have session for everyone, but exclusively the problem of the people who started the school is also something very peculiar. So we will be having sessions. No doubt, as we discussed, there is other session with the for the teachers also will be sharing. But what is more important, there is more interaction from all of you within with the teaching community. So we need your help and support, sir. B Singh sir, need your summation of the program, and already we are 6:34. So we need your blessings and to sum it up how we can take it further.
Also, we'll post it to different circles. And friends, we'll meet at 9 o'clock. So please post all your queries, feedback in Google Classroom before 8 p.m. So we'll be preparing ourselves. We'll discuss more ideas of today's session, as I said, and we'll have open-ended questions from your side. Okay. So thank you very much. All the very best. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you, Kriti, for summing up the
Thank you,
last
sir.
2 days sessions, which have been really recalling what we have been doing